25, and I am here with Jeremy Akers, who is representing
Regens Unite, nerds.
Yoo-hoo! Beautiful. And yeah, Jeremy, thank you for accepting my invitation to this call and invitation to join Coherence as a project. I have this few questions to you right now, and I would like to learn more about your project and, of course, how it aligns with Coherence. Sweet. Good. So first of all, tell us about Regens Unite, what it is, for those that have no idea.
Yeah, so there's what is Regens Unite? Regens Unite falls under the category of controversial turn of phrase, which is a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out what that means exactly, and how to do it, even though we've been doing it for 3 years. But I would say Regens Unite is kind of a memetic attractor around organizing a particular type of gathering. So we when I say DAO, it's probably best to point specifically at ephemeral DAOs. So organizations, organization as a verb, rather than a noun, but a constellation of nerds that come together to do a thing, and when the thing is done, there's no thing, there's nothing left.
Okay.
Which makes it kind of fun. So we've done something to the tune of 20 gatherings in the last 3 years.
All right.
Usually 2-day sort of open space technology unconferencey vibes, usually between 50 and 200 people. So a lot of really mixing it up and creating space for the cultural mycelium to connect all of the things.
Amazing. I've been at one of the Regens Unite and in Berlin. This is where we met exactly.
Yeah.
It was it was an eye-opening event for me that first of all, regenerative ecosystem already that it exists and is already so vast, and people are so connected. This was like one of my bigger entry points to the whole shebang.
For sure. There is a here. That's the whole point of the project, to let people know that there is a here around the regeneration. Like there is a place to go and find the others.
Good. So, what is the plan for this year? Are there any events happening?
The sort of focus of a lot of the main crew has really shifted in the last couple of years. So the project went from, we did this one-off gathering in like 2022 in Brussels, which led to a slew of one-off gatherings, the one in Berlin that where I met you. And then we kept doing that. Like we did a whole bunch of gatherings, like random constellation of nerds come together to create this gathering. Random nerds come to fill it with all of their wonderfulness, and random people come to experience all of that cross-pollination.
With open jaw.
Now, yeah. But now, over the last year, the core of the group, Lean and Xavier in Brussels, have transitioned. The place where we did the first set of gatherings, the Citizen Corner, which was a community space that they sort of organized in the squat in this formerly it was a post sorting center. That was around the corner from their house. That place got demolished and is in the process of being redeveloped. And that caused them to need a new home for their community space, which led to the birth of the Commons Hub in Brussels. So, in terms of gatherings, we've done many fewer gatherings, as it were, this year, and then compared to previous years. But we're also like running continuous programming out of the Commons Hub. That is a physical space that is operational like 24/7. So you can come to Brussels and you can co-work from the Commons Hub. You can come to Brussels and have a place where you know the scene is going to be lit and where you know you're going to find your friends. So, and that sort of like, I think that much more. When we started, of course, we were super high on the exciting possibility of creating a space for the scene to connect to itself and like empowering other people to do the cool thing. But as I think as time goes along and we have enjoyed that vibe so much, us as a group, and my ambition in particular is much more to do the thing in the place. I don't care so much about kickstarting it everywhere across the planet. I really just want it to happen where I live and where my kids to grow up. So that sort of that focus in my local context, I think, is very much in the group, in the focus on no, we're doing the thing here, and we're happy to pop up from time to time on the internet and be like, hey nerds, we're
Sure,
still
sure.
doing the thing right here. Like what's going on? If you're doing the thing, like this is where our learning is happening, and this is what
Mhm.
we're discovering through action.
All
Right now,
right.
my focus is on historical lore excavation, and I'm organizing a gathering here in Amsterdam that is really like for my neighborhood, by my neighborhood.
Yeah. Mhm. Under the banner of Regens Unite.
Under the banner of Regens Unite, I mean, I I don't know how much the banner of Regens Unite is helpful for the people in my neighborhood.
Okay.
So I like whether Regens Unite gets featured on that slot. I don't know. I mean, obviously the vibes are going to be inspired by everything that we've done and I've done as Regens Unite.
Mhm.
Um, the more or less the process and the way that we go about doing the thing is going to
Right.
be powered by that process and by that experience that I've got.
Yeah.
But whether or not the logo will show up, what I can say is Regens Unite has never been particularly concerned about its logo showing up in places.
Sure. All right. Okay. What's has it been the most concerned about then?
Mostly just creating space for nerds to find each other.
Mhm.
Really, I mean, that's the primary goal, is to anchor the sense of identity that is sort of nascent or latent in the space. That
Mhm.
yes, there, like I said, there is a here. There is a scene that is happening, and you can say that scene is a thing, and you can definitely identify with it. It's not a crazy thing to do, to say that, oh yeah, over here in this corner of the internet or in this corner of the planet, we are vibing. So I would
Very
say
yeah.
where two or more are gathered in the vibe, regions are uniting. So that's the whole point.
Okay. Okay. Good. Thank you. That explains everything. And now to the topic of coherence, I want you to tell me, how does Regens Unite connect with themes of wise AI and conscious collaboration? Because these
Hmm.
are the themes of our current round, let's say.
Sure, sure. So I think I have less intuition around wise AI. I'm not. I have. We'll see.
Okay.
But around conscious collaboration, I think we've got a bunch of experience
Mm-hmm.
to basically be shared, and a bunch of stories about how we have gone about that. What does collaboration, especially that is completely based on free association, conviviality, and um, distributing agency at every step along the way? What does that look like? How did that come together? Especially in the juicy space, when I think about the most conscious collaborations, I get excited about working institutionally, which is also a way that I would describe the work of Regens Unite.
Mm-hmm.
That is working outside the confines of an official organization. That is
Mm-hmm.
much more trying to bring things together in a container that may have never existed and may never exist again. Um,
Hmm.
which is an interesting vibe. I don't see a lot of nerds doing that, unfortunately. I see a lot of nerds trying to put together like a logo, trying to put together some form of like identity, and then trying to rally nerds into that thing. And when I think about coherence, especially,
Mm-hmm.
I think I think it is the great coming together. It is the
Hmm.
great like dissolving of logos with the recognition that like
Yeah.
anybody's attractor is not really the point. If I call it Regens Unite, this gathering that I get up to, if it right now the working title is Buurt Beurs, because number one, that's local language, and it's a funny play on words. It means both a neighborhood conference as well as a neighborhood marketplace for like
Mhm.
stocks and bonds and financial vehicles.
Yeah.
So, whatever we call it, it's gonna have the same general vibe. It's gonna have the same target subgroup, which is people that recognize that belonging is a team sport and that are interested in like creating that together, more so than simply enjoying it. I mean, you get to enjoy it once you've created it, but you got to create it in order to enjoy it, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. I love it, and it is so much aligned with when we have started Coherence in March. Victor was calling it Regen Collab Tech Collaboration Summit. I'm like, Victor, why don't you think of maybe some better name?
Yeah.
And then he's like, no, this name is intentionally bad because it is not about the name of this
Yeah.
particular event. It's about the names of all those that participate in it. So
Yeah.
you see that same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the vibe. This is the vibe for sure.
Eventually, we decided to. I mean, it was his idea to call it coherence, because imagine that each time you would have to refer to Regen Tech Collab Summit,
Yeah, exactly.
decentralized tech.
Exactly. Which is like paradoxically, right? It's not about the logos, it's not about the attractors, but the attractors do need to be sexy as shit, right? Like there's paradox in this, which I think is part of the beauty.
Is paradox, but this to strike this balance, right? When
Hmm.
where the name is good enough to speak, right? To carry the meaning across,
Hmm.
but it's not overpowering and it's not, mm, for lack of better words, yeah, I think overpowering would be the one. This is why I think Regens Unite is a lovely brand, because yeah, it's also only says what it has to say and doesn't really try to.
Exactly. It's a thing that you do, right? It's an action. It's not necessarily a place. It's not necessarily a set of humans, but it is a thing that people do. And wherever people do that thing, I think I'm happy co-opting that shit and saying that's us. And I think to that effect, I would actively encourage anyone to say, oh yeah, if you look at the branding material and you would like to borrow that legitimacy to bring nerds to your place,
Yeah.
and then there's a great move to be done, because there is something really powerful about bringing nerds in from outside to witness what's going on in your place. It's a really exciting game that we get to play in, that of monkey see, monkey do. That when I show up from my place to your place, like instantly, I am elevating your own social standing, because it's like, oh well, what's this nerd doing here from Amsterdam, checking out what's going on around the corner? Like, is it really that big of a deal? And I go, yeah, it's that big of a deal. Did you not notice? This is Alex. Like, she be doing wicked shit, man. Come on. And so that's a nice little like memetic hack that we can do for each other, which I think is going to be really, really crucial, like to increase the salience of the space. We're gonna have to play all the good games. So
Mhm.
here's the
Oh,
good play.
so many beautiful code words we have today, and I'm wondering how to make sure that they will find their way to the description of our call on the YouTube.
Mhm.
My dear, okay. Actually, you've started already answering this. How do you understand coherence?
Mhm.
Maybe you can tell me a few words.
Yeah, yeah. So when I think about coherence, I think about yoga, I think about union, right? I think about the coming together of things, right?
Good.
Yeah, I think this is part of the paradox, because generally speaking, if I were to summarize regeneration in one term, I think it is extraordinary specificity of context. It is like hyper locality. It is like right here. Regeneration is not a thing that happens in the abstract. It happens at a specific place, or it doesn't, right? And that gives it a simplicity because it's then personal and it's observable. And the paradox is, as I think, at the same time that we're having this extraordinary explosion in sort of the granularity of digital culture, where it is possible to have like such a tiny niche that it's just here, it's just my neighborhood, it's just my street, it's just for us that live in this building, right? There's a group chat at every one of these scales, right? And we can really vibe on that level. So while we're both having this enormous specificity, and that is making things so much more tailored and bespoke for contexts, at the same time, we have a great coming together that is happening, where all of those things are not like in a new world order fucking United Nations coming together of those things, but literally like all of the spaces across the surface of the earth are adjoining, right? They are adjoining in their specificity of their place, and in that way, they can represent the whole is represented. And I think there is in particular, like there's a vibe that we're remembering, that we're coming back to, that is like, oh, wait a minute, like historically, we are in such a fucking weird aberration of human history. Oh, wait a minute. Everything about this moment is weird. And even though we have remembered it, like our experience of that continuity of weirdness makes us think that it's totally normal. There's something beautiful about looking at the history of a place to recognize that, oh no, actually it's not, it hasn't been this way forever. It got this way because of these things, this things, and those things. But we can actually reach back to that past tradition, and we can pick up the rock on that and bring that forward. And then when we look at things that are in the here and now through that light, well, prefiguration, or like the collective imagination of, oh, it can be different, is just automatic. It's obvious. We don't have to tell people like another world is possible. Like we can just show them the story of like, hey, where we live right now, there was a totally different world, and now we're in this world. So like, we are the writers of that history. So that is the coherence that I think is sort of is upon us. That the memes around Regenaissance, around that this is a very historically special time where we get the opportunity to either make it or break it, and probably through the breaking break together and make something new, right?
I love it. So coherence would be like collective remembering in a way.
Yeah, I think so, for sure.
I love it. Okay. Actually, the question was about what is Coherence TV in your opinion, but we can skip that one.
Same. It's all part of the bigger pattern. It's all part of the bigger pattern.
Exactly. So, what do you hope to get out of participating in Coherence 2025?
Yeah, so I'm in the early stages of a pretty big pivot for myself. My previous career has been based on agile coaching and facilitation, getting nerds to talk to each other, and I really want to lean much more into my gift of gab, my talent as an MC, my hilariousness, and focus much more on performance as a way to both earn a living and move me around spaces and help me cook shit up. So I'm really, really, this is like the dream of a lifetime. I've only fucking started to acknowledge, and I definitely have not a fucking clue about how to actually make that pivot. So I'm looking for anybody who has any amount of experience in both the production side, especially when it comes to media. So that's one of the things I'm looking forward to participating in this project, is just to sort of like get a closer view of like what a media production pipeline sort of looks like. The other aspect I know I'm going to need help with is around management. Like, it's going to take a bunch of work to not only generate the content I've got, I mean, content's good enough. But I'm going to need a bunch of help to book the shows and actually get paid and figure out a way to go on tour and turn what I've been doing as a side job, as my my Batman personality, into my full-fledged Bruce Wayne, right? To bring it into the day job and make that the vibe. So there's something that I'm looking from there around production and management and all this type of shit, and what is actually going to be like to exist in the space of entertainment is a whole new field for me. Yeah, shit like that.
Mm-hmm. Entertainment. I have an ideas of who I could match make you with, because as you know, in the next 2 weeks, because there are 2 weeks left of this coherence, you will have calls, and I'm wondering which would be the most fruitful for you. Let me ask, what kind of projects would you like to connect with? Do you have an idea?
What type of projects would I like to connect to?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I see, like, if so we're just going to engage in active hyperstition right now, or I'm going to give myself the permission slip to engage in hyperstition and just talk about what I would like my lifestyle to look like, and we can work back from there.
Exactly. Yeah, let's go.
So I would like to earn my livelihood through performing stand-up comedy and by touring primarily. So, like, you're in Berlin. I like to go to Berlin. I think having a show in Berlin is a great excuse to get me to go, that pays my
Yeah.
way out there. And what I would like to do while I'm in Berlin is, of course, invite all my nerdy friends to that show, right? Invite all of the nerds, all of the projects in the space of regeneration, in the space of blockchain, in the space of, radical play-based wizardry and free associated
Wow.
play states. I would like to invite those nerds to that gathering and to that show, and I would like to roast them in front of everyone, right? I would like to Yeah, I would like to tear them down and tell everyone how nerdy those nerds are, thus elevating their status, giving everyone in the room someone to laugh at, and basically creating a scene of the scene around me. Um, with that work being done in the evening, that should give me a shit ton of time and opportunity to plug into location-based projects around wherever I'm touring, which is exactly the vibe. So then I get to, I want to plug in with those nerds. I want to do knowledge sharing. I want to help out where I can, and basically continue the move of, like, in what way can I produce a stream of content that helps elevate everybody's status in the scene and actually helps make things happen on the ground. So
Mm.
that's what I would like my life to look like. I have no idea how I'm actually going to do that or get there, but these are the types of nerds that I intend to be significant in the way.
This is very beautiful. And yeah, now I'm having even more ideas of whom I can connect you with. This is another dimension of conscious collaboration, isn't it?
For sure, for sure. There's a lot of possibilities. Like, this
Yeah.
space, and I think that's the exciting part, right? The space is filled with so many possibilities, but, like, at the end of the day, we will, like, you were at the gathering of tribes. I wasn't. I've been to a bunch of fucking those gatherings. I know how emotionally and mentally exhausting it is to like feel all of this possibility and, like, to see all of the potential connections and then be like, all right, so I'm just gonna have to take a nap now to fucking metabolize that shit, right?
Oh, crazy. All right, dear. Last question.
Hmm?
No, two last questions, because this one is very funny. I need to know. What questions are you bringing to Coherence 2025?
Yeah, what questions am I bringing? Like, where's the vibe at? Like, for real? Like, where is the vibe at? Like, shit is gonna. I do not watch the news, Alex. I do not watch the news, but
Good idea.
people keep coming to me with all types of horrific shit, and I just keep going, yeah, man, that's totally consistent with fucking late stage, whatever you want to call this. And this is, yeah, I mean, ain't shit really changed. Ain't no reason to watch it. So I say that to say, like, the context is giving us lots of signals that it wants more of us, that it requires more of us. Like, that shit is really, really going to have to start coming together to give ourselves viable alternatives. And the question I have is like, where the fuck is the vibe at? Like, for real. Like, how do we, like, it's cool. It's cool that we're all nerds in our tiny rabbit holes doing our own thing. But I hope to God, like, whatever rabbit hole you're in is producing actual artifacts and actual tests and actual track records. Like, I hope that you actually, for the love of Christ, if you do not have an MVP, where's your fucking MVP? That's my question. Where the fuck is the actual thing that I can play with? If you please let me see it. And then the next question is like, cool that you are doing this thing. How does it talk to the other things that are exactly the same of nature, that there are infinite of? Like, where's the interoperability? So those are my questions, my pet peeves.
Beautiful questions. I'm
Yeah.
very happy that I asked this one.
Yeah, so I'm like a walking sprint review, I guess. That's basically the thing, right? And if you don't know what a sprint review is, it's not a fucking demo. I swear to God, I'm gonna choke the first person who says it's a demo. Like, yeah,
My dear, oh my,
yeah,
my makeup. What?
yeah, yeah.
So, what questions do you have to me as the last question?
For you, Alex, well, I'm sort of wondering, like, as we're here, like, flirting on the liminal space, crossing into this context and then this threshold, like, who are the nerds you want to play with? Like, who should I be pulling into this context to hang out and vibe with?
I would say there's in this round not so much space for onboarding new projects. I would
Mm-hmm.
rather try to make the most out of what we have already, because we have very many projects that only had like one conversation or two,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess there may be some that didn't have really yet even one.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the most interesting would be for me to actually have you on. I don't know what is your time availability, but let's you have like 5 calls, for example, until the end of
Yeah,
July.
yeah, that's fine. I mean, right now I don't have the burden of productivity since my depression. So go ahead, plug me into the vibe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I will try to set you on the road to find the vibe, find the MVP, and find the interoperability.
Yeah, 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 for sure.
Sweet. Good. Then, thank you. It was very lovely hosting you here
Good times,
in
Alex.
the
Good times.
Coherence. All right. Then let me pause the recording and let's get to some technical stuff. All right.
All right.
All right. Wow.